So a while ago, I was watching anime like Persona 4 and Log Horizon, and I noticed that they were filled with a plethora of cute, sweet, irritating, non-realistic, two-dimensional children characters. And then I started wondering, can anime even do children? I mean, there's so many of these cute, sweet, undeveloped, non-realistic, irritating little brats out there. And then I started just laughing at myself, 'cause, well, this list. Welcome one and all, I am Coriander Stone, and these are my top 10 children of anime. When I say top 10, I don't just mean top 10 favorites, although that's clearly part of it. I also mean most well-written, most well-developed, most well-rounded, three-dimensional, realistic children characters. Also, one note. Children characters means characters who are portrayed as children throughout, if not the entirety of their series, then at the very least the majority. They can't just be your regular protagonist, flashed back to their child selves for 1 or 2 episodes. Or I could fill this entire list with characters like Edward Elric very, very easily. Also, a spoiler warning. This list will contain massive spoilers for the anime Puella Magi Madoka Magica through the movie Rebellion, the K-series through the movie K-Missing Kings, Higurashi no Nakokoro ni through, well, the entire series, and spoilers, though not nearly so major ones, through Inuyasha and Inuyasha the Final Act. Runner-up. The Knight of Six, Lady Anya Allstream from Code Geass Lelouch the Rebellion R2, with lines like "Tag, you're dead," and her habit of taking incredibly serious situations with a shrug of the shoulders while giving various serious treatment and over-the-top explosives to school fun and games, I knew Anya was going to be a likable and entertaining character from the moment I saw her. Yet Anya's odd personality exists for more than just entertainment value. The show delves deep into why somebody would act like this, and the reason for Anya is that she doesn't have a memory. She can't remember anything, and so, of course, she's going to misjudge situations thinking some are serious and shrugging others off, and of course, she's going to greet every new challenge with a very blank expression because, of course, she doesn't even know if it's a new challenge or not. However, that doesn't mean she doesn't know anything, because she does. She captures memories in a smartphone she carries around her everywhere. She takes pictures of things, and those are her quote-unquote memories, but they lack the flavor of actual emotion, and this creates her flat persona. I can't go into the reasons for her loss of memory, for spoiler reasons, but let's just say they're dark and very well written, just like Anya's character. Plus, hey, it's fun to watch her blow up stuff. Number 10. Eve from Black Cat. Now, the first thing you need to know about Eve is that she isn't human. Eve is an artificial weapon made from nanotechnology. And up until the beginning of the show, she had always been treated as such. Her story over the course of the show is that of her becoming human, of understanding what it is to be human, have friends, experience joy, all things she had had no experience of until she came into the care of the protagonists. Eve's story is very much that of discovery, as she discovers both the outside world and also her own personality. It's also the story of her taking what she's learned on her journey to become human, and using that to help free others who perhaps are already technically human, but who have bound themselves to someone else's principles or ideas, and who do not think for themselves. Eve, encountering such people after her experiences, sees them with a new point of view, and tries to help them realize that they must think for themselves and act only as they see fit as opposed to blindly following others. Eve's personality is one of kindness and also determination, and it's really fun to watch her discover it as she goes from a mindless killing machine to the most developed character in her show. Number 9. Nagisa from Assassination Classroom. To understand Nagisa, you have to understand that he's a member of the Assassination Classroom, and to understand the Assassination Classroom, you have to understand that it's a class being taught by a yellow octopus that can move faster than the speed of sound, who wants his students to assassinate him by a certain date, or he'll blow up the earth. Yeah, give that a second to sink in. Now, you also have to understand that before it was the Assassination Classroom, it was the E-class, or the End class, the class for kids who got kicked out of the normal classes at their high-scoring private school because they couldn't keep up the grades. And of course, Nagisa is no exception. He starts out as this quiet kid who really doesn't think that he's worth much of anything. He has very little self-esteem and has no problem agreeing to assassination plans that could cost him his life, because he really doesn't think he's worth that much. However, as the show goes on, he starts to get a value for himself. He starts to understand that there's more to life than the society the school was imposing on him, and that he really does have value. In fact, it turns out that he's a natural-born assassin, and he learns his assassination techniques so well that not only does he use them on his teacher, he also uses them on real-life assassins who are trying to use the kids as hostages to cash in on the giant bounty that is their teacher. Nagisa himself is kind, caring, mild-mannered, and very intelligent. But more than anything, it's his development and his readjustment on his views of the world, not to mention his burgeoning skills as an assassin and his newfound bravery and courage, that earn him a spot on this list. Number 8. Eliasfiel von Einsberg from Fate's Day Night Unlimited Blade Works. Elia is a really, really amazing character, especially considering her improvement from the original. In the original Stay Night, she was just sort of this annoying, creepy little kid. But here, well, yeah, she's still creepy, but annoying she is not. She's a really dark character. For one thing, because you know her dark backstory and past, dating back to the original Fate Zero. But even besides that, she gets a lot more screen time and development. You really get a sense of what the Holy Grail War means to her, why she's involved, and what this involvement has cost her. Being put into this war as sort of a fait accompli without really her consent, and having to grow up as more like a battle machine than a child. She's a really complex character, and the dark tragedy in her past that some of the later episodes highlight just really brings home what a twisted life she's known, and how she ended up as this creepy, badass little girl. Because yeah, she's also like freaking amazing fighter. Number 7. The Demon Slayer Kohaku from Inuyasha and Inuyasha the Final Act. Out of all of the characters on this list, Kohaku is without a doubt the most tragic. Kohaku is a demon slayer, and a member of a family of demon slayers. When he is 11, he takes part in his first battle, but it goes horribly wrong. The demon, villain, Naraku, possesses him, and uses him to kill his father and the other slayers, and to wound his sister Sango. After that, Kohaku himself is killed by soldiers at the castle he was supposed to be defending, but Kohaku is resurrected by Naraku using a shard of the sacred jewel. From then on, he becomes Naraku's puppet. Naraku removes his memories of everything he's done to his sister and family, and uses him to kill many others, humans and demons alike, and even to attack his sister Sango, and to play with her emotions. There are times when Naraku has no use for him and he is outside Naraku's control, that he regains a little bit of a sense of himself. It is during one of these times that he befriends some people. Later, Naraku forces him to turn on them, after Sango arrives on the scene and shouts at Kohaku that he's done it again. This, at last, breaks through the memory spell, and with it, the control spells that Naraku had on Kohaku's mind, and his memories return to him. Once they do, Kohaku is forced to face what he has done. He also decides what he must do now, and he decides that he will take revenge for his father and friends. And so, secretly, pretending that he is still a pawn of Naraku in public, he plots against Naraku and tries to destroy him. Yet he still doesn't reveal himself to Sango. He doesn't let her know that he's regained his memory, both because he can no longer bear to face her, and because he realizes that if he lets anyone know, Naraku too will find out, and he will lose his only opportunity for revenge. His bitter and solitary quest for vengeance speaks a lot to how much he has grown and changed from the quiet little kid who really didn't even want to be a slayer to begin with because he didn't like the idea of going into battle. And if one thing's for sure, his entire story arc, which honestly is one of my favorite things about Inuyasha, is without a doubt the exact antithesis of the cutesy little kid stereotype, which, to be honest, I really don't like. Number 6. Ciel, Earl of Phantomhive, from Black Butler. If Kohaku is the most tragic character on this list, then Ciel is probably the darkest, although to be fair, number 1 could give him a run for his money. Ciel is a kid who was basically living a normal, happy life for a noble in Victorian England, that is, until someone came to his house one day, burned it to the ground, killing both of his parents, kidnapped the kid Ciel, and tortured him for like a year until, in his anguish, he called upon a demon. The demon, Sebastian, will serve Ciel and grant him the demon's power to enact his revenge, but in return, once the revenge is complete, Ciel must give Sebastian his soul. Already, this is setting up an incredibly dark and complex character. A kid tormented and desperate enough to enter into this contract, yet still proud and determined enough to seek revenge. Furthermore, Ciel doesn't just seek revenge, he also seeks to carry on the life of the noble house of Phantomhive, that of the Queen's guard dog, slayer and betrayer of her enemies. And so you get to see his mind at work, his intelligence and his cunning, giving him a three-dimensionality as more than just Sebastian's powerless master. Finally, there are also layers of a childlike vanity and self-satisfaction. And perhaps it is all these layers, coupled with his burning desperation for revenge, that make him such an interesting character. Number 5. Anna Kushina, from K. Anna stuck out as an enigma in the show from the word go. As I said in my K Missing Kings review, she was this Rosen Maiden doll kid in a Victorian dress tagging along with this super violent gang, Homura. Like, what the heck? I mean, I don't want to say she was useless or anything, because she certainly wasn't. Even when she didn't get much focus, it was clear that her powers were highly useful, as she could use them to both track people and locate them. Yet, this didn't explain her existence in the universe. She still stuck out like a question mark, but it's a question mark I'm happy to say was completely answered by the continuation movie K Missing Kings. This is where the spoilers come in. So, at the end of the original season K Project, the Red Clan, Homura, was completely scattered after the death of the Red King Mikoto Tsuo. Then another clan, the Green Clan, Jungle, decides to kidnap Anna to use her powers to find out if their biggest threat is still alive. Anna is eventually captured by Jungle, and during the attempt to rescue her, she is forced to face head-on the fact that Mikoto, to whom she was very close, is dead, and that the world must move on. Moreover, that if the world, specifically her part of the world, Homura, the Red Clan, is to move on, that she must be the one to lead them, that she must be the one to drive them forward into the future. Which leads to my favorite moment in the K series, Anna's awakening as Homura's new leader, the Third and Red King.
これ以上目そらし続けとっても何もならん。あんな。いや、赤の王。
From then on, Anna becomes a much more central character as she figures out how to handle everything from diplomatic relationships with the man who killed Mikoto to the upcoming threat with Jungle in the second season. She has to figure out how to lead her clan effectively, how to make decisions as their king, and also how to cope with, handle, and use the sheerly massive amounts of supernatural power she, as a king, now possesses. And she does it all with a calmness and self-assured poise that tallies perfectly with her personality in the earlier show. Honestly, Anna's just one of my favorite characters in K, if not in general, and I truly am excited to see where she goes next when K7 Stories finally comes out.